Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm John Penapinto, and as you know, I love movies. So what I decided to do this year was to watch all of the Best Picture nominees so that you don't have to. Today we're going to be discussing Avatar: The Way of Water and Top Gun: Maverick, two sequels, both of which surpassed box office expectations, which were pretty high, and made their way amazingly into the Best Picture discussion at the Oscars. Top Gun: Maverick has scored itself 5 nominations: Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Visual Effects, Best Film Editing, and Best Sound, as well as Avatar: The Way of Water has 4: Best Picture, Best Visual Effects, Best Production Design, and also Best Sound. These are 2 sequels to 2 films of which I did not see the first one. Avatar, still haven't seen the first one, and Top Gun, watched it right before I watched the sequel. We're going to be discussing all of that and whether or not that was the right move with today's guest, my wife, Danielle Rose Fisher. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, John.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
Oh, good. So we're going to talk about the movies that you referred to earlier as the pedestrian movies, the ones that are easily accessible. And it's totally by chance. It just happens to be these are the ones that we watched together. So I want to start off by talking about Avatar: The Way of Water. Avatar is nominated for Best Picture, Best Visual Effects, Best Production Design, and Best Sound. No acting nominations in Avatar. No major surprise there, I would say, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
Although there were great performances. Check out Bailey Bass on the Nothing podcast. We interviewed her 2 years ago before she was technically in Avatar. She had already filmed it, but so let's talk a little about Avatar. Avatar is a weird one, right? Because Avatar is the one that you forget is nominated for Best Picture because it just feels like it's just Avatar, right?
Right. I mean, just knowing how the Oscars go, it's nice that they sort of added this more accessible type movie
Right,
to
right.
Best Picture, but it feels like it's not gonna win
Yeah, it
because
feels like it's thrown in
how
there. Feels like it's thrown in there. Now,
right.
I had no interest in seeing Avatar because I didn't see Avatar 1. I still have not seen Avatar 1, but you really wanted to see it because you loved the first one. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you also loved this one, correct?
This is correct. I remember waiting a really long time to see the very first one, just
Yeah.
because everyone had talked about it, and I was like, I think I need to go. And I saw it in 3D, I believe, because it's the way that you need to see this movie, and as goes with the second. And it was so beautiful and
Yeah.
very enjoyable.
Yeah. I found myself really enjoying it. I mean, it's long. It's long. It's 3 hours and 9 minutes, if I remember correctly. Which is a long time to sit in the movie theater, and we did watch it in 3D. And I have to say, as much as it's the thing to say about Avatar, this was the way to see it, right? I mean, um, the best visual effects, best production design, even best sound, I guess. Like these are kind of layups for Avatar. I think. I mean, there's nobody gonna have better visual effects than Avatar. This movie was you thought you literally for 3 hours didn't realize you were not underwater in space. Like,
I would genuinely like to watch the making of.
yeah. The other thing I'll say about Avatar that's weird, and this is less of a quality of the movie thing, but we don't get the chance to go to the movies that often. We did happen to go see Avatar, but since it's been nominated for Best Picture, it's the only movie that is completely inaccessible from home. You cannot rent it. It's not available for home release. It's not you're not even on the radar for home release. It's just still in theaters and like that's it. So I think that in a weird way, Avatar had a big opening and was making a lot of money. But then since the Oscars thing came along, they kind of hurt themselves by saying we're not going to come out at home. But that's, I'm a home movie kind of person. So,
See, I don't see that being the case because they're still making money.
right,
Like
right.
essentially they're still breaking records.
They are. But I don't know. I mean, like, there's not much to say about Avatar because I don't think, like I said, we don't really believe it's going to have a stand a chance for the best picture. It's nice that it's there. I mean, James Cameron would tell you otherwise. But I
Anyway,
enjoyed the movie.
agreed. I think it's it's a solid story. It's probably not as good as the first story just because of its simplistic nature, like the first one,
But even the
but
second one's very simple. The story is, you know,
Right, but it's long. And I know
Yeah.
the first one is long, but the first one, I don't believe it felt its length. This
Hmm.
one, you know that there's a lot of extra swimming around to, and like
Yeah.
added, background music to add to the vibe of the film. That's
Right.
great. So it's lovely. It's an experience for sure.
A
But
lot of world building, a lot of world building happening in this movie.
and that's why it is so special.
Yeah, and
And
it's
that's why
world building strictly through visuals,
Mhm.
you know, which is really cool. If they're not telling you what the world is, they're showing you what the world is, which is really something that's a little unique. No, I mean, I guess it has its place. It does. It's a technical marvel, and I think it's going to be the measuring stick for a lot of these type of sci-fi movies going forward, as the first one was. So it has its place in the best picture category, but when you put it up against story wise or acting wise, some of the other nominees, it's like, you know,
No matter how you spin it, traditionally it's not an Oscar movie.
right, which really could take us directly into our next one, which is Top Gun Maverick, which a lot of people, even when you tell them that it's nominated, they go, "What? That's a nominated for Best Picture?" Yet everyone stands by it like it's the best movie they've ever seen.
I mean, it was very good.
It was very good. I don't know if it's Oscar good.
No,
It was
once
a good
again,
action
it's
movie, I guess.
not, it is not Oscar worthy good. But then you look at, I guess I mean, this sounds terrible, but like they threw Avatar a bone and then maybe they threw Top Gun a bone to make it feel like the Oscars are changing. And, I don't know.
I mean,
But I
Everything Everywhere All at Once also is another one that you say, oh,
absolutely,
we're
right. You would
changing.
never think, yeah.
Yeah. Even
So
the Batman has, I think, four nominations.
really,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's the Oscars trying to roll with the times a little bit more.
Yeah, it's the Academy. I mean, what's weird is that it's always voted by the people in the Academy. So it's not you. We always say it's the Oscars, but like the people in the Academy just aren't choosing these movies, and it seems like now maybe they are making an actual effort to include these movies. So Top Gun has five nominations: Best Picture, Best Visual Effects, sure, Best Film Editing, sure, Best Sound,
Mhm.
sure, and Best Adapted Screenplay. That's weird because the screenplay is certainly not the strong suit of this movie, considering something like The Whale, which I haven't even seen, but I know is not nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. So when you hold up that against, but also let's look at the other things nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. All Quiet on the Western Front, sure. Women Talking. If it doesn't win, there's a real issue. Living, which I have not had the chance to see. Top Gun, and Glass Onion, which again, I'm like, really? I'm like, there's no but this. So by looking at that metric, I'm saying that the other movies nominated in the that were out this year don't really aren't the script is not their strong suit. But Top Gun, you like Top Gun, right? You enjoyed it,
So yes, but it's with a caveat. We watched Top Gun, the original,
right? Which we had never seen.
right, going into it, and we were not impressed. But we were also not Tom Cruise fans.
No,
But after Top Gun Maverick finished, looking at it from a holistic point of view, you needed to know the story of one, and it just made two a lot better.
they feel like one piece, right? And that's kind of what makes it good. And I think people maybe don't realize that it's not the movie itself. Okay, and let's take the visuals out of it because the visuals of the jets and the way and even the way the story's laid out, the way you understand what their mission is and stuff, that's great. That's really great.
It is
Um,
really great.
but as a movie itself, it doesn't have a ton of story, but neither does the first one. When you put them together, they make for a nice whole story, right? So I think it's a case of both pieces, in my opinion, and I believe it was your opinion as well. Both pieces lacked, but when you put them together, they make for a great, as you compared it to Mamma Mia and Mamma Mia 2, which we do always say the movies on their own are weak, but together They make one big, great story, and I can't even remember what happens in the first one and what happens in the second one.
Right. It's fun.
It's just
And I
fun.
feel like as serious as as Top Gun Maverick was, it was still fun.
Yeah, which is important because you lose that a lot in these Oscar movies. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a few this time around. Like I said, I mean, even our Avatar is not really all that fun. But Everything Everywhere All at Once is fun. Um,
Okay.
this is definitely the most fun of them. Again, we're looking at two movies right now that don't really, in my opinion, stand a chance to win Best Picture.
I mean, but it is nice to see, as you pointed out,
Yeah.
three out of however many, or is it seven, eight?
10, 10.
Oh, 10,
Yeah.
um, that are nominated that like maybe the Academy is changing their views a little bit, changing perspectives, and that's really special too.
Yeah. Well, if you remember a few years ago, they wanted to add a category for best, what was it, a fan favorite film,
Yeah.
where things like
Mm-hmm.
Marvel movies have a chance to be nominated. But now it's starting to change where you don't need that category because, I mean, Angela Bassett is the front runner for best actress, for best supporting actress for Wakanda Forever. Like, you know, these things are coming to the forefront. But I don't know. This is the first year, and I said this in my Everything Everywhere All at Once video too. Um, this is the first year where I've watched them all, and I can honestly say this is the first time where I've. A lot of people look at the movies that are popular, like Top Gun or like Avatar, and they go, "I'm rooting for it, but it's never going to win. They're going to pick one of those Oscar movies." This year, they're really all very good. Even those Oscar movies are very good, save for like two or three of them that do not stand a chance anyway. That are clear Oscar bait. These are all actually good movies, and like that's kind of nice. All right, well, thank you, Danielle.
Thanks, Sean. This
I
was
always
fun.
I always love talking to you,
Same.
especially on Zoom from in the same house. All right, see you later.
Bye.
Well, that's it for today's episode. I want to thank my wife, Danielle Fisher, for joining me and talking about these movies. Be sure to stay tuned, or if this is in the future, look at the rest on the feed where we discussed all of the other movies nominated for Best Picture. Be sure to follow me at The Man with the Black Glasses and at The Nothing Pod on Instagram, and let me know if you enjoy this kind of content and you want me to make more stuff interviewing people about things that are not necessarily comedy or are comic takes on things that I'm just interested in. Let me know. The more interaction we get from you, the more I'll do these. So thanks for joining me, and be sure to tune in again. Thanks.